All right, so we're going to create courses a lot faster than what you've created them in the past. So this is AI Course Creator, and it's a tool that we're going to use to create e-learning files. Who am I? I'm a business development manager at eSkilled. I've been around the RTO space for quite some time, probably around the 5-year mark. I know I've worked for a few different providers, so sort of seen the software in training organizations for some time. So that's my background. But yeah, I'm the business development manager at eSkilled. We sell not just AI course creator tools, we sell resources, um, we sell student management systems and learning management systems as well to help you manage the courses that you would create here. So the plan for today is to go through what is AI Course Creator, how does it work, we'll do a practical demonstration creating courses into the 2 ways, and I'll explain them as we go through. How to edit a course, sharing your course with your learning management system or even on the web, themes, and how you deal with themes, and then how much it costs. So that's the plan for today. So firstly, what is AI Course Creator? What we're doing is we're creating e-learning. It's an e-learning tool, authoring tool. We're building e-learning files. We're going to replace any sort of tool that you've used in the past because there's an easy builder. You don't even have to use AI if you choose not to, but it is going to save you time if you do, and the prompting mechanism will save you a whole lot of time. So yeah, very good. How does it work, and why and how really are we different than anything else that you've used, right? So what we did was we built this tool using our instructional design team that creates content, and we used an AI team and our and obviously our dev team. So we developed this using our team that creates normal e-learning files currently. We use the tell, show, do methodology, which means we provide content. The AI produces the content and the practical examples, which is the show component. And then there's a short quiz. It'll create little quizzes for you. One thing to note there is they're formative quizzes. They're not doing summative assessments here. So those in the RTO space will understand what that means. It's formative components only at this stage. Eventually that will change, but right now it's formative. We're going to speed up the design process and create it with beautiful themes. Now, when I say beautiful themes, I don't just mean, our own themes that are beautiful. I mean, you can create your own themes, and it allows for that. And it produces an interactive SCORM output. Now, you won't be able to export the SCORM unless you have the annual subscription, and I'll keep mentioning that along the way. If you want to utilize the files outside of the SCORM output, you'll have to use a bit of software called LTI, and I can explain that as well. So we'll do that. Let's take a look. Firstly, the interface is really simple, and it's designed to be simple. It's not designed for you to need a degree to understand how to deal with the software. It's designed to be able to build it quickly and edit it quickly and create course content more quickly than you've ever done before. So it's not designed to be very complicated. So to create a course, we're actually prompting the AI. So we have a series of AIs that we use depending on what sort of tool we're working on, and how there's a different one for images, there's a different one for quizzes. We've utilized different AI tools to create this file for you. Now, one thing to note, and one thing that probably be one of the first questions that people ask is my content that if I upload anything, is it feeding the AI? And the answer to that is no. So we pay for the right to host, to essentially to encrypt and force the AI to not utilize any of the data. And so all your data will sit within your portal. It'll be encrypted to the model and encrypted back, so there's no way it can actually feed the model, and there's no way that they can actually review the content. It's all it's doing is asking the AI and pulling the data back through. And we pay for that privilege so that our data doesn't get spread around the internet. So very important part of what we're doing here. All right, so step one, course details. All right, so what I've done is, so that you don't have to watch me typing out a bunch of prompts, I've just copied a couple of example prompts. That being said, I'm going to talk you through them, and you'll probably be able to do a better job of prompting it than I would. So just know that. There's going to be lots of things that you can do on top of what I've done here. And also, one thing to note here is that we're using I'm going to upload a unit of competency for the RTO people in here. They would know what that means. If you don't have a unit of competency, that does not mean you can't create a course here, right? This is designed to create any course, and we have example courses of how to grow zombies and, nighttime survival in the jungle are some cool examples of ones we've done that are non-accredited. But just understand that you don't need an accredited course. It just helps to design it, in this demonstration, because it allows for a whole lot of things. And I'll go through the prompts as well. So what I'll do is, I'm doing a workplace health and safety course for NDIS gardeners. And I'm going to upload a unit of competency, but this is not designed for accredited training. This is designed for a company wanting to create a bit of workplace health and safety for their team. Now we want to describe our course audience. So that's the people that we're training here. So something to note is that's the people we're training here. So describe your course audience. Adults with low literacy standards is what I've put in here. But you can put AQF levels. You can really put anything to show who you're training. Maybe even it's part of a qualification. You can do that as well. So that's something to note as well. Something to note as well. Now, I am going to prompt it with describe your course in detail. I'm going to pull in the unit of competency, even though I'm not going to be delivering that as part of a unit of competency. It doesn't matter. It provides a lot of information for that. So let's pop that in. And then I'm going to put in people starting to do gardening for an NDIS provider. So that's something to note. I'm adding a little bit extra on top of the detail of the course. Now I'm going to use creative here. That one thing you should note is there's two ways to create content, right? So two ways to use the AI in this tool. So the first way is creative, and I'm going to show you a little bit of detail on creative. The second way is a document conversion tool, and I'll show you some examples of how I've done that, how I've used that as well. So all you'd with the document conversion tool, you probably wouldn't have to prompt the AI, because it's going to move the information from the document directly into the e-learning. So essentially, it's creating an e-learning file from a learning guide or something along those lines. If we go creative mode, you get the option to attach multiple documents. So, and I'm not going to this time, what I'm going to do is show you a couple of the examples, and I'll just use a unit of competency file for this. But essentially, you can add 5 or 6 or a bunch of files. You can add, as long as you don't reach the character limit, you can add in a lot of information to generate a course. And I would suggest add as much as you can here, because that's going to give you the best output that you want. So for instance, you can add in unit of competency, curriculum documents, learner resources, staff handbooks. So if anyone's dealing with HR, you can do staff policies and procedures and staff handbooks. Technical manuals, industry specific standards, legislation, laws. So there's a whole lot of information and possible ways we can use this software. Essentially, you do have to upload a PDF document though. So if you've got any Word files, just print them PDF and then upload them. So that's something to note. So what I'm going to add is just a unit in this one. Oh, sorry, I should probably add the unit. So I'm just adding this unit. You can see it's only used 7,000 characters. That's fine. We've got 500,000. That's heaps. So you can understand how many documents you can add if you choose to. Very cool way to make a really nice course. Next step is course context. So this is where it really shines. This system really shines. So we're going to add in, firstly, how much text do you want? For a unit of competency, we go comprehensive. But in this option, I'm only going to go standard because you still get a lot of text, but we don't want that much because really it's a workplace office text. You want our gardeners to have a lot more videos and more interactive elements. So we're going to cut back the content, the actual text itself. Reading level. You can sort of, difficult is university graduate level. Very easy is a 5-year-old, right? Somewhere in between there. Now, always drop it one, I would say. So an adult would be, a young adult would be fairly difficult. But I'm going to go standard because, we've got low literacy standards. So that's something to note there. The next thing is language. So we have 96 different languages to choose from. And this is one thing to note here is it's not translating the language. It's generating it in that language. So the reading of it is going to be much more structured and easy. Tone of voice, casual, professional, funny, dramatic, excited. I like encouraging. That's my favorite. But yeah, you can make the tone of voice a bit different. Country context, very important part of what we're doing here. I don't know how many times I've prompted ChatGPT and it's come out with Walmart this, or they're talking about a target and their target is different to our target. So something to note there. Make sure you put in your country context because it's going to make a difference. Other contextual considerations, we've got state regulatory context, we've got industry context, cultural, social, political, legal, regulatory. All I'm going to put in here is Queensland standards and guidelines and case studies based on private residencies. So that's something to note here. But use as much information as you can in that prompt. That's a really good prompt. That's going to guide your case studies a lot more. Category, obvious, it's way to structure what we're doing here. It's not really important here. We don't really have a category, so let's add one. That'll do. Topic navigation, free or linear. That just means, am I progressing through the course, or do I have to progress in an order? That's linear, or can I just click any menu item to view it and start doing that part? I'm just doing free for this test. Add learning objectives. That's just like a title page for your courses, and it gives a little like one sentence about each section, so you can sort of learn what you're going to be learning. Include case studies, and then we can customize a course theme. Now, I'm going to just choose one here that we have on file called Geared Up, because it's sort of very nice looking for this purpose. But you can customize your own themes from scratch, and we'll go into that. I'll add that as a note. We'll go into that a bit later. Next, and the last one is quiz setting. So you've got a bunch of different options here for quizzes. You can just check multiple items here. So true or false, single, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, matching type. So it allows for you to sort of edit the quiz settings. There's a whole lot of settings in here. Do I want to require someone to progress on the wrong? Am I allowing progression on the wrong answer? You know, do I have a set maximum number of questions? I'm just going to let eBot choose what I'm doing here. I don't need to really worry too much. eBot's our little mascot. But I am going to require quiz attempt for course completion so that we know that until they've completed the quiz, it's not going to be completed. Now, at this point, you can type in the topics and subtopics you want for your course. I wouldn't suggest doing that because the AI is going to do a very good job of generating the topic outline. Now, probably the best part of what this does, because it'll generate the topic outline in about 20 seconds. And what it's going to, the eBot's painting is masterpiece, a very cool little cute thing. Oh, hold on, I do have a question here. Rain, are there any copyright issues we need to be mindful when uploading the relevant resources, files to create the course? Yes. Okay. So copyright issues. So remembering that if we're using creative mode, the AI is generating the text. So just to answer that one, Sabrine, you won't have to worry about copyright on the generated text. We're using a source file, so you may want to reference it in a section at the bottom. That particular source file is used as a reference, but it's using the whole world's content that's been added to the model. So it's a human when they're creating content uses 4 or 5 resources, and so it's very important to reference each wherever you've used a reference. But when it's AI, it's millions of resources. So the scenario is that it's going to be very good at creating something new, rather than using something that you've used in the past. So hopefully that answers the question, Sabrine. All right. Now I'm going to hit OK. Now it's brought up a topics list, topic and subtopics. Now, if you were to use comprehensive, you'll probably find those more topics or more subtopics for the course. But this is produced a fair bit of information already. Now you can edit topics and subtopics. You can move things around. You can delete topics if you want to create a course. You can do lots of things, right? So at this point, again, you can generate your content manually. If you choose to do that, it'll just say no text. No, nothing's been generated, and you can manually generate each section. I'll show you that in a minute, how that works. If you generate content if you want to generate via AI, you can. Otherwise, you can just copy and paste information in there. But if you were going to copy and paste, I would recommend using the document conversion feature, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, if I hit quick generate via AI, now this is the longest time thing that happens here. So it's creating 13 topics. So this might only take 5 minutes. I've done courses with 29 topics, right? So in that circumstance, you're going to have probably, a lot longer to create it. But, that's probably good because it'll give you a good example of what's done here. Now, while we're waiting for that to generate, I wanted to just quickly go into the themes. So we can create a theme from scratch, or I'm just going to jump into one just to show you what's possible here. Go into fun. So you can see here, it has a couple of theme styles, 6 different styles that you can choose from. That just sort of place at the start button, the look of the front page really is all that is controlling here. And then you can upload a front cover image instead if you choose you want a different image to show up. And if I hit next, I can change the image behind the theme. I can change the fonts and the colors and the sizes. We, it even graduates the colors on the start button. So goes into quite a lot of detail here on creating themes. hamburger menus. What's the background behind, the menu with the the um, the status information and what's going on in the course. The top banner, you can choose to add your own banners, logos as well. I'm getting a question. Where are the images from? So there's a bunch of stock images that are in there, and I'll show you how to add stock images as well. Um, but but you can upload your own images to use that, and including banners. So if I want to change this, I can just hit upload and choose my own banner if I want to. All right. Completion page. How does that look? um, Background image, banners, banner text. So banners is like for each section, it'll have a banner pop-up section that you can edit the text on. How is the text showing? Do I need an um, icon for your banner? Um, Font styling, default banners. Like seriously, there's lots of little icons that pop up as well. There's also how do I edit how a hotspot looks and what numbers, letters, no overlay. Do I want a hotspot icon? And you can choose some really cool looking icons. I like the finger, pretty cool. Like the little I can choose that for my hotspot design. Font. So this is the cards. So you'll see flip card options, and they have the image that sits behind the flip cards. Um, oh, I've got some questions from Amanda. Have you got the ability to transfer, convert from articulate or to articulate? Sorry, Amanda, the answer is no to that. Um, this is designed to replace your need for articulate. Um, and then the next question was, are you able to download content into editable document as we provide student editable document as we provide students paper versions on request? Um, Not yet. That feature is coming, but you can actually copy the text from that, from what's written here, into whatever form you want, including Articulate or Word, anything like that. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Amanda's saying it was more to get the content. We already have Articulate, so changing over. Yeah, I completely understand that, Amanda. I think what you'll find is when you're generating this stuff from scratch, it takes a fraction of the time. So what you'll find is that you can actually build this stuff from scratch, and it'll take less time than if you were trying to translate things from other providers. I know that's not the answer you wanted, but I can tell you now that process would be a lot harder to achieve. Um, yes, sorry, Amanda. Yes, there will be a recording after the session. You'll be able to download the recording and have no issue um, rewatching later. That's not a problem. All right, so we've gone into the themes. We have, table theme as well, even like padding themes, fonts down to even the pre-formatted font as well, hyperlink font as well. So it's a pretty cool theme builder. Okay, how are we going? Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. So some other things I wanted to touch on were actually we'll just do it within the course itself because we're just already through it. Oh, document conversion I wanted to do. So what I've done is moved it over to document conversion. I've still added prompts because what will happen, so if I'm wanting to show how to convert a learner guide, we actually have a learner guide for responsible service of alcohol um, file that I've uploaded into here. All right. Now, all I've done is change some of the images in the theme. That's really all I've done. Oh, and I added in a iframe for, because you can add in for a H5P file as well. Cool. No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. Oh no, it's gone. That's all right. So yeah, it's actually when you use a document conversion tool, it'll bring in the images as well. That's something to note. So all you're doing then is adding interactive. Um, so really, that's all. The document conversion tool is really cool if you have learner guides you want to just transfer over to e-learning. Um, so those, I'm sure there'll be plenty of those people here that will want to do that. So I'll leave that for now, but I can show you how to do it later if you like. Oh, okay. So this is where our theme has let us down. So we'll probably want to edit the theme there and fix up the colors for that start page. But that's something to know. So it's added in learning objectives. You can see here that's just really a accordion. So you can see the different topics and what you learn in each topic, right? Um, it brings everything in as text to start with, right? We're going to add the interactions and the interactive activities and images and media to it to make it look really nicely designed, right? And it's actually really simple to do that. Firstly, though, I wanted to show you how you would edit some text using AI. So I can highlight this bit of text here, and I can use the AI tool to expand that text, bullet point, or summarize it. Or maybe I want to do text to speech. Now, this system has the ability to actually read out the text that's written, right? I'm going to just use the Australian woman. Maybe let's try the Australian woman, Natasha. Convert, and that's it. Very easy. 1 minute, 19 seconds of reading. So just, this should, let me know if you can't hear this text, but
Identifying hazards and assessing risks. In any workplace, especially in gardening, it is crucial to understand how to identify potential hazards and assess the risks associated.
so I think what you'll find is any AI generated audio reading out text is actually, they struggle to get it not to sound robotic. So this has the ability to help you sound much less robotic in your voice to audio. It does use a fair bit of generation credits, and I'll go into what that means a bit later, but I think it's worth every penny because if you have to pay someone to read out the text, you're gonna end up, it's gonna be quite difficult to do that. Now, what you do is you can add interactions from the side here. So if you want to add a video, audio, document viewers, accordions, interactive flip cards or hotspots, images. I'm just going to do a hotspot just to show you what it looks like. Now, when I click, it's just dropped it to the bottom, but you can also drag and drop into the space to do it as well. So I'm just going to go, this is identifying hazards. So let's just browse. So you can generate something via AI here, or you can browse your local image library. So anything that you've done within the system will be stored there as local. You can upload from the device, or this is the easiest way to add sort of images that, the stock images that don't need copyright. So they're free stock image libraries. So I'm going to just go gardening. Gardening hazards here. That's not helped. Let's try unsplash. Gardening, but it hasn't really got the hazards here. Maybe if I put hazard first. It's not doing a good job of that. That's right. You get a bunch of free images. You'll probably find that most things will be pretty easy will look pretty nice. I like this one just because you can add in sort of like lots of, if I had done, it's like little pot plants. So it's sort of, I can put my hotspots on the pot plants. So once I've done with that, you can see that it's got my little A here. I can edit that hotspot. I can use my icon. I didn't use my theme, unfortunately, so I have to add this hotspot icon in. And then you can sort of copy and paste text. So just, I'm just going to apply it. You get the point. Oh, it's got letters, so we'll remove the letter. Okay, I'll add that. We should be removing the letter. Anyway, that's all right. That's the first one. Add a hotspot. And you can edit and add all hotspots really easy to do that. And when you hit save, it comes out really nice. I'll show you an example of one I've done earlier where I've added a few different interactions in here. So you can sort of see what it looks like from a, I'm just gonna preview this one. So you can see what it looks like as a preview. Now, preview links can be used to add sort of test example ones to websites and things as well. So just so you know. This one, so you can add in, that's what a video looks like. You can link it from YouTube as well. This one's just, I'm just showing you hotspots. You can do drop downs. Now this took me like maybe, 30 minutes to create. So you can see, yes, obviously you'd want to polish this up and make it look a bit nicer, but it doesn't take that long to create really nice looking stuff in here. More hotspots. Videos, and you can see the quizzes as well. Oh, this one wants me to continue doing it because it was generated with, you can't progress unless you finish. Does anyone have any questions on how it looks and how you can add in those interactions? Pretty simple. No, I guess not. You can also add in text. When you're adding in images, you can use the AI to generate them. Also, let's say you wanted to do it manually, you would get it in the system like this. It would look very much like this. Oh, it would look like that, right? No topic left. If there's no topic, no information in a topic, it gives you an extra button here under the AI assistant that allows you to generate content. And that'll help you just generate something using the AI. So you can add things manually and sort of just add AI where you want to if you choose to. So it's easy to deal with that. So no questions on any of that? I think it's pretty clear. It's pretty easy to use, so all right. I can still come back to it if we need to. Now, the next thing to note here, once we're finished, you can see those little icons do cool looking things. Generating quiz. Right. Now, up the top, you've got a bunch of little icons. So firstly, the cog button allows you to edit the prompts that you used, right? Now, if you go to edit the prompts, it's going to get you to try and regenerate the information. But you can sort of work around to try and create different types of prompts if you choose, right? And every time it generates, it uses credits, and I will get to credits in a bit, right? Then there's edit topics. So you can go in, let's say for this one here, where there's responsible service of alcohol thing that I use the document conversion tool, I don't want to show my unit of competency or my summative assessment here because it's not going to have a summative assessment. So what I'm going to do is go to my edit topics and I'm going to delete those topics, right? Unit of competency, just delete. And I'm going to delete summative assessment. I want to keep references there because that allowed me to store my references. So I'm going to save the outline here. When you do something that requires deleting, they want you to type in things so that you understand that you've read what's written there. Very important. You can see now those topics are gone. Really easy. Oh, here we go. So you can also even add in iframes into the text bubble. So when you go to add it in, it creates a nice looking interactive file as well. Just how to do that is under the text, you can just go to source code. And if you go to source code, you can add source code into any box. This one's a H5P. If you've ever used h5p.org, you'll be able to upload those sort of cool looking interactive courses in there as well. Now, there's a whole lot of things we're adding to this. I won't, it'll, as they come out, you'll be notified when you have the system. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things that they're going to add to this. The next prompt here is preview. That'll give you a preview. It'll open up in a new icon, in a new tab, the preview of the course, right? Now, that preview link can be used as anything, as to provide the content to anybody. So that's something to note. Then the download SCORM button, obvious reasons, that's going to download your SCORM files. Those who don't know what a SCORM file is, that's when learning content is purchased or provided, generally people will purchase it as a SCORM file. And that goes for anywhere in the world generally. So you'll be able to upload those SCORM files into pretty much any LMS system. So most systems will have SCORM. Not all systems will have the LTI compatibility, which is how you would have it as a window in another product. Hopefully that answers any questions that people have. Does every element used meet the 𝗔𝗜 𝗖𝗲𝗂𝗏 2.1 standards? That's a very good question, Lizette. The answer is yes. So anything produced with this sort of design will meet those standards. And so if you do have those tools, sorry, if people don't know what the 𝗔𝗜 standards are, they are your accessibility standards. So if you have learning difficulties, maybe you need it to read any text out. So if you have a tool built into your browser that will read the text, it will do that with this system. So yes is the answer to that. Hopefully that's a positive thing. Sabrina asked a question, can we put a link to the course on an independent website? Sabrina, yes, that you can. That's how you would use the preview link. Absolutely. And there's also a preview. So when I go back to courses here, you can also use a preview iframe as well. So there's a bunch of different ways you can translate the text. So if I hit the 3 dots next to a course, right, I can either download the SCORM, generate a course preview iframe. So that will be code that you can drop onto a website, right? Or I can generate a course preview link. So that would just be where it's a link to open up in another tab, the course. Now, those things though is something to note about not downloading it as SCORM or connecting it via LTI, is these are previews. You don't know if someone has completed a course if you have it embedded into a website. So that's something to note within these links. But if you don't need to know if they've progressed, then easy, just copy and paste it onto a website. Otherwise, I would suggest that you utilize some form of LMS. Now, eSkilled has an LMS that I can show you how. It's very, very cool system. So I'm more than willing to show anyone here our LMS that would connect it. But you can use pretty much any LMS to connect this stuff. And when you download, it just asks you what type of SCORM file you want to download. When you want to connect it via LTI, you're really connecting it. Sabrina says, we have eSkilled LMS already. Can we add the non-accredited courses? There. Yes, 100%. You can add them via LTI or you can add them by downloading the SCORM files. I would recommend going on the annual subscription and downloading the SCORM files because one, you save a couple of months of of payments. It's two months less in cost, but two, the SCORM files are a fixed file. You can then store anywhere, even if you don't have the platform. It's a file, right? So I think it's a good idea to download them when you're creating the courses, so you're not reliant on the link of it to your software. Hopefully that answers everyone's questions. So that's that. Now, connecting it, if you do have the eSkilled platform, I'll just jump into it actually. I have to log in. Oh no, I already logged in before. That's fine. So if you have the eSkilled platform, when you go to add courses, when you go to add a course in, you can just edit mode, add activity, and then you can add the SCORM file by clicking SCORM package and then uploading the file that you've downloaded. Or alternatively, you can connect it via the LTI resource, in which case you could then search any of the courses within your package to add into a particular course. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, price-wise. Now, oh, sorry, am I forgetting anything from our list? I don't think so. No, pricing. Let's go to pricing. So, two options, as I said, monthly or annual. Now, if you go monthly, you won't have access to the SCORM download. And eventually, when the document feature comes out, that will be an annual subscription only option as well. So I would just recommend going annual. It makes sense. So the base package is $890 for the year or $89 a month. So you can sort of see what that means. So within that package, sorry, Venus has asked, can you share a bit about credits? How much credit would you need to convert, say, a 10-page document, if creative, a 15-page presentation? Yeah, let me explain that, Venus. I will get to that. That's part of this discussion here, because I wanted to tell you what comes in the package first, and then I'll definitely show you about how many credits you use, right? So firstly, one course creator in the base package. That's one person creating the courses. 20 gigs of included storage. You'll probably want to link your videos just so that you don't go near storage limits if you do that. That being said, we do encrypt very heavily, so you'll find that data is quite low, stored very quite low, and you probably won't go near these data included storage limits. AI generation. Okay, so in the base package, you get 1.75 million generation credits, right? Now, what that means is the more comprehensive a course is, the more generation credits you use. As an example, when you're generating a course with comprehensive, all the limits, let's say 23 or 25 topics, you'll use approximately 200,000 generation credits, right? Now you get 1.75 million every month. So that'll be at least 10 courses, around 10 courses a month if you don't do audio transcribe. Now, if you do want to transcribe to audio, I would probably 2.5 times that number. So approximately 500,000 generation credits if you use text to audio per course, right? So that gives you a bit of an idea. That being said, it's very variable. So you'll get an idea of how many credits you used as you're utilizing the course. Now, you can see here we generated, actually, let's see the course we just generated, Workplace Health and Safety for NDIS Gardeners. I'll show you how much generation credits that's. 158,000 generation credits. So that gives you an idea. So just go off the total credits. I would probably stick to maximize. If you're an RTO and you're trying to produce, 5 or 6 courses a month, you probably want to use maximize, because you'll probably want more than one person creating courses. You'll probably need more than 50 courses in total, right? 50 course limit. So that means that, every time you create a course or even duplicate a course often people will want to create a unit and then they'll want to split that into a few courses. Yeah, if you split it into 3 courses, you have 3 units, right? So um, that's how many you can store on it. Now, if you've downloaded the SCORM file, you can delete it if you choose to. However, if you delete it, you can't then edit it later. You'll have to recreate it again from scratch when you go to recreate, when you go to want to make any changes. Hopefully that answers your question, Venus. But that's one of the limitations there. Also, 10 free AI generated images per month in the base package. Like I said, you'll probably use more stock images than you will AI generation. That being said, there might be some things you'd want to generate by AI. The image generation software with AI is okay, but you need to be very good at prompting. So we try and give you some tools to help you with prompting. That's something to note in when you're generating things via AI. And then one LMS connection via LTI. Remember I was talking about connections via LTI? You would only be able to connect to one LMS here. Now, if you're on annual, obviously downloading SCORM files, you can connect to multitude of LMSs because you're just uploading the file. So that's something to note there. So yeah, they're the options. You can utilize these options however you like. Now that's the AU dollars. Obviously, there's US dollars, euro, everything here. So something to note. Now, if you go over your generation credits in a month and you don't want to wait till the next month to generate anymore using AI, you can purchase generation credits as well on top of your packages. And you can also purchase storage as well if you need to. That being said, no one does that to date. So that is something to know. Yeah, so monthly or annual. Any questions on pricing before we move on? No? Good. All right. Well, and any questions overall? Does anyone have any questions from anything that I've discussed today? I'm happy to go into. We've got a couple more minutes if I need to answer any questions with showing. Sabrina asks, can we get help if we get, I think she means stuck in the creation of the course? The answer is yes. So the little speech bubble at the bottom here, that's a little ticketing system. So you'll be able to create a ticket for the eSkilled support team. So you'll be able to ask any questions you need to. And they'll be very good at helping you. That being said, you'll probably find there's tutorials here, the tutorials link. That'll give you all the information for how to create courses. You'll be surprised how much information is here and how easy it is to it's like has step-by-step tutorials with options. So it's very easy to navigate. We won't part of these packages isn't training in the software. That's because we give you training via the help guides and the tutorials. There's a bunch of different tutorials. And as things new come out, you'll find that it'll pop up with a notification on this top right hand corner. It's explaining the document conversion tool there. Now there's lots of videos and things as well, so you'll be able to watch videos. Now, if you want to change your subscription, let's say you go on monthly and you want to upgrade to annual, you can just go my subscription. Oh, sorry, I'm in the demo account, so it doesn't let me do that. We have unlimited in my demo, so I won't be able to help you with that part. But the help guides are pretty clear on that. You'll be able to ask it about subscriptions, how to change subscriptions, managing your subscriptions here gives you information, change your package, extra storage, purchasing generation credits, all of that. You'll even have there's user profiles as well with that. and you'll be able to set different user permissions and everything. Brilliant. If we are already with eSkilled, do we still need a separate subscription for the AI course creator? Sabrine, yes is the answer to that. This is a separate product, and the cost of this is really our cost in generation. AI generation is very expensive, and this is the cost of the AI generation, especially within a portal. It is not. Yeah. So no, it doesn't come as free with eSkilled, but I think this month, if someone starts their subscription with eSkilled, you get 1 month free. So yeah, but you'll find that the value of this is significantly more than the cost anyway. If you're creating, 5 courses a month, even, it's leagues above better cost than trying to do it with any other provider. Is there any plans to export in different file formats in the future, like CMI5? I have not heard of CMI5, but I will ask my management about that. Is that I will get back to you. I think I've got an email from you, so I'll get back to you on that. CMI5, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that. I'll definitely look that up after this. You've taught me something today as well. Is that? Any other questions? No. Well, we might end it there then. If anyone has any questions after the session, feel free to ask. We will get back to you on answers. Happy to look after you there. Now, I think, yeah, that if you purchase an eSkilled software, you would get 1 month free. So that's something to note. If you're looking for discounts, that's the discount that's on offer this month. That being said, there's always little specials on, so they might send them to you via email if you do need a special rate. You'll be getting different specials. All right, thank you, everyone. Feel free to ask any questions later. I will speak to everyone in the future. Thank you very much.